Speaking of the news, it's brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. Holly Schneidwind and her team at Eagle Mortgage are the best when it comes to helping you finance your new house or refinance your existing loan. It's going to be another crazy year. The residential housing market is going to be bonkers this year, and it's February. That's when it starts to really heat up. If you are even thinking about buying a new house this year, make an appointment with Eagle Mortgage. You can find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. Call them, stop by the office at 114th and Davenport, but make an appointment. You want to get a pre-approval letter so that you know what you qualify for, and if you find yourself in a competitive bidding situation, which you very well may, you'll have that nice weapon, that pre-approval letter. Doesn't matter whether it's a conventional loan or FHA, they do all that, eaglemortgagecompany.com. All right, guys, a few things on the news. First of all, we have some details about a project we talked about a couple weeks ago at 39th and Dodge. This is the 4 or 5-story apartment building that would sit on the site of the old infamous Travel Inn, which was thankfully demolished in 2006. But this is a really cool project, classic infill stuff. But the two things we've found out, number one, it's going to be called The View. That's the name. We didn't know what The View.
The View or The View on 39th?
The View on 39th. And Public Works wants to close 39th Street for about a block north of Dodge because they figure, I think with that big hill there, and Brad, you know this stuff with your engineering background, that big hill there, traffic, they're a little worried about safety. So that's kind of the what do we think about that, and kind of interesting what the neighbors think and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm guessing the line of sight for the speed of the road is probably not very safe. It's too bad. We were talking about how in urban areas we really like the connectivity of all the open roads, but I can see their point in the safety issue on this one.
And sometimes in order to get a good project, you go ahead and you allow certain things like that. But what you don't want is for people to start thinking, oh, okay, we can close streets for 4-story apartment buildings anywhere.
Yeah, and the other thing about this street is it dead ends 2 blocks north when it hits the Jocelyn Castle, so it's not like it's a main road that they're closing off. It's a pretty short street to begin with.
Well, this really adds to the urban density, and that's what it's all about along the bus route, the orbit, to make sure that we're building up and not just out.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point, and you guys, if one of the goals of Orbit was to create a lot of development density along the Dodge corridor, it's working because this proposed project is just one of many that is within 2 blocks of Dodge or so, where and they love these pedestal buildings, right, where you put 1 floor of steel and concrete, then you can throw 4 floors of wood frame on top of that, so you get a 5-story building, and the ground floor either is indoor parking or sometimes it's office or retail space. It's a great system, and I don't think we have even seen anything when it comes to transit-oriented development and more density along Dodge. And we'll get the same thing along Farnham when the streetcar comes along.
Yep.
And with that, we want to talk a little bit about retail. And we've got a couple cool retail things to bring up. The first one is Warby Parker. Warby Parker has the stylish glasses, and we have not had one of those in Nebraska or Iowa, but that's about ready to change. There's going to be a location coming soon to Village Point. And Warby Parker, they have a bunch of locations, I think 160 locations around the world, if I remember correctly. And a lot of people in the metro area have been clamoring for that one to come along. So that's a nice catch for us. In fact, let me give you a couple details. They're based in New York City. Like I said, 160 stores. The closest existing locations are Kansas City and Minneapolis. So that'll be a nice addition. And then, Brad, you were out at Nebraska Crossing this week and noticed that some site prep work has started for the REI store.
Yeah, I saw they were moving dirt to the east side of the Under Armour building. So,
see, that's huge. And to see these bricks and mortar retailers taking the risk, coming in, and obviously there are a lot of specialty stores, camping, and our REI is very specialized, as well as Warby Parker, and seeing that companies are bringing their storefronts to the people.
It's awesome. Yeah, those are a couple. Like I say, those are a couple brands that people have wanted here for a long time. REI tried to get into this market, 6-7 years ago, but it just didn't work out. The right spot was not available, and then there were a few things that just didn't work out for them, and so they're kind of behind getting here, but they're finally coming, which is a good thing. So Eppley Airport has a new airline.
That cargo, but
Cargo.
yeah.
Yeah, you and I can't fly on it, but Amazon Air has come to Omaha's Eppley Airport. The inaugural flight landed early Thursday morning, and this is Amazon Air's first regional gateway in Nebraska. The purpose of it is to support fast, efficient package deliveries to Amazon customers. Now, they call it Amazon Air, but the photo from the airport authority that came out Thursday says Prime Air, but it has the Amazon smiley face on the tail wing. And so this is really cool. Amazon continues to go gangbusters. Now, here's something interesting. This came from a press release that the airport authority sent to the media. It says Amazon has created more than 500 jobs with 1,000 indirect jobs supported on top of the company's direct hires since 2010 in Nebraska. It's also invested $250 million in Nebraska over the past decade, including infrastructure and compensation to employees. And that has created an additional $200 million in gross domestic product to the Nebraska economy.
And that's got to be over and above their warehouses and everything else.
Well, yeah, because I'm thinking that just that one warehouse that they built
Billion.
At Highway 50 and 370 has got to be hundreds of millions, isn't it, with all the stuff in there and the equipment and the robotics and everything else? So, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Did you see what else was at the airport this week?
Well, it was.
The New England Patriots jet.
Really?
Had the big New England Patriots logo on the side, 5 Super Bowl trophies on the tail. It was there Thursday and Friday. I don't know if it's still there today, but
What was it doing?
I don't know. It was parked right by the side of the road, so of course it was all over people's social media pages this week.
I did not notice that. How cool is that? Now,
You're bragging when you put your 5 Super Bowl trophies on your tail of your airplane.
but don't they have they have more than that,
Or
don't
whatever.
they?
I don't know the exact number, but
I think Tom Brady won 6 of them there
yeah, maybe that was.
because he has 7, and one of them was with Tampa. Yeah. So they must have at least 6. That's a lot of Super Bowl trophies.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an old plane.
Yeah, and they just parked it in Omaha.
I wonder why. I wonder if that was just a promotional thing or if it's actually their plane.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a believer in capitalism, the free market, and free markets. But remember when we were kids when they broke up AT&T?
Yep.
And AT&T is huge again now. But what about the FANG companies and Amazon and Facebook and Google? How much bigger do they have to be right now than AT&T was when they broke up and made Baby Bells and all of that?
I think you bring up a good point, and there have been a lot of business journalists that cover Amazon that bring that issue up a lot. Gosh, I guess I wouldn't be surprised at all because
better lobbyists or something.
there will come a point in time in which you'll have the United States, China, Japan, and Amazon as the 4 largest world economies, right?
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, eventually there probably comes a point in time in which can you keep it that big because it becomes its own world economy.
And so not just vertically integrated, but in different markets. I mean, from groceries to all their online, and they'll do storefronts and cargo and everything else. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the future holds. And I'm not saying break them up today. I'm saying it just bears the question.
All right, it's a very good question. And let's go into our last news story we have for today's news segment. And fellas, you may remember, what was it, late spring or early summer, we talked about the Flatiron District downtown. We had the developer in the studio, and this was going to be a project where they're going to renovate the 6-story Standard Oil building at 18th and Howard and then build a big 4-story, 5-story apartment building, maybe 2 of them. And so we now have a few more details about that. The building is actually going to be called Bauhaus. It's that old German design theory that came out decades ago, and I don't know, is it Bauhaus or Bauhaus? Bauhaus. I remember when I was in college, there was a class we were studying design theories, and I remember I learned all about it. Bauhaus, we'll call it. That's what the project's going to be called. And the site is bordered. It's almost a trapezoid-shaped lot, and it's bordered by Howard, 18th, 19th, and St. Mary's Avenue downtown. That historic 6-story Standard Oil building to which I referred will be right on the northeast corner of the project. That will be converted into 40 studio and one-bedroom apartments, and then kind of around that to the west and sort of south of it, plans call for a 118,000 square foot building to be constructed on an existing surface lot. That'll have 120 apartments plus 4 street level commercial bays. Great project. We've been kind of waiting for that one to get started, and looks like final plat approval has gone through. So presumably that could start pretty soon.
Be a great infill project for that area.
Absolutely. We don't like surface parking lot downtown.
Right. It adds to the mix. More population downtown.
And, kind of going back to an issue we've been talking about a lot the last 2 weeks, the streetcar. The streetcar will make it even easier for more street surface parking lots to go away because you won't need so much open parking because you'll be able to move people easier from parking garages to buildings, and that'll be fun to see. All right. Should we put a wrap on the news?
Let's wrap it.
We're going to wrap up that news, and it was brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com, where they know mortgages.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.